Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Melanie and I am super jazzed to be here as always. This video is going live on Mabon, so before we get into anything else, I want to wish you a lovely fall equinox. Mabon is the pagan celebration of the fall equinox and is one of the first harvest festivals of the year. This marks the turning of the wheel of the year and brings in some transitional energy and change in the seasons. Mabon falls right in the middle of our Self-Love September dedication and intentional cultivation of compassionate relationships with ourselves. That's a tongue twister. But it's a great opportunity to layer up that intentional, mindful practice that we have been cultivating all month long and add some extra cosmic juice to our daily lives and magical mundane moments. Today we're going to be talking about cleansing our space. We've touched on cleansing ourselves, but taking care of our space, cultivating a clean environment, both physically and energetically, can be an incredible act of self-love. So I really wanted to make space for this practice in our Self-Love September conversation. And it turns out that cleansing my space, whether that is physically cleaning or energetically smudging, smoking, spraying, and doing all of the good juju stuff to bring in that fresh energy, falls into alignment with what I usually do on the Sabbaths. So the fact that this is coming out on Mabon really is just so synchronistic. All of the energies, the vibe, the juju, it falls into place. During periods of transition, cleansing your space can allow you to really embrace a fresh start and move forward unencumbered. This is a period of transition. The fall equinox represents a time of the year when the day and the night are of equal balance, just like the spring equinox. The wheel of the year is turning. We are slowing down from those really productive, busy months of summer and moving into a more easeful and restful fall, at least in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, switch up the equinox that we're talking about and call in and work with the spring equinox energy. I live in the northern hemisphere, so I'll be talking about the fall equinox, Mabon, and that energetic transition we're going through right now. On top of all of the homesteading activities that are very alive, busy, and a huge focal point of my life around Mabon, it has always been part of my practice to energetically cleanse my space for that fresh start, unencumbered, new beginning energy. On a very practical note, all of the pagan Sabbaths, whether it's the solstices, the equinox, or the smaller Esbats, are really great reminders to do your magical mundane hygiene, whether that's energetically cleansing yourself, cleansing your space. These are very literal seasonal markers and points on the calendar that really just remind me to do the care and the maintenance that might get pushed under the rug if I didn't put it on the calendar or make it a priority. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know that I do my best to not have a separate spiritual practice from my life. I try to amalgamate and merge both my spirituality, my mundane everyday tasks into a aware, joy-cultivating lifestyle. I want to be present and mindful throughout all of the moments, not just the intentionally set aside magical ones. So with that in mind, I want to talk about how cleansing and cleaning are really not that different and can be used and worked with together to have an even more profound effect. Cleaning is energetic cleansing. Those dirty dishes in your sink, that pile of laundry you've yet to fold, all of the dust and rocks and dirt that might be collected on your floor, all of those things, all of those items, whether positive or negative, hold an energetic charge. And when you clean them up, tidy them up, put them back in their proper place, you are maintaining, cultivating, cleaning, and organizing the energetics in a space. We all know what it feels like to walk into our bedroom or the living room in our home and have visual reminders of all of the tasks we haven't finished, or the massive to-do list of chores that just seems to keep growing. That causes an energetic response in your body and in your system. When we have dedicated time to cleaning, it also energetically cleanses the space we're in. On top of that, during times like the fall equinox, we're experiencing a seasonal shift. So what I like to incorporate during this fall cleansing and intentional deep clean of my home and my space is to take things that are only used in the summer months and put them away for the upcoming seasons. Fall is a transitional season, so I will slowly start to move things like extra bathing suits or summer dresses, even my camping gear, coolers, tents, camping chairs, anything that's not going to be getting as much use in the fall and winter months to come, I'll start collecting those things, putting them in piles, and moving them out into the appropriate storage space and or shed area. It's also a great time to create a goodwill pile. If you have a lot of summer clothes and you've realized you haven't worn any of them this last season, then make a pile for a donation, give it to your friends, or move them along. This for me has been a really intentional focus of these seasonal shifts like the fall equinox, the spring equinox, as well as the solstices, because I've moved out into a tiny cottage on the property, and it has brought such emphasis and attention to the things that I have. Keeping a tidy space is really important for your mental health, but also for your functioning of a home when you only have a 20 by 10 area to live in. So starting a task and then finishing that task and cleaning up after I'm done has become a really big important part of just existing in a clean, functional, and not mentally draining or energetically fatiguing space. To put it simply, I have become a big fan of the 10-second tidy. Especially with all of my spiritual knickknacks, my journals, my candles, my saging and smudging gear, any kind of lotion or potion I've been creating, art projects, all of that stuff has a tendency to get left out and about. So that 10-second tidy and this intentional purge, cleaning and clearing and shifting and moving things that are not going to be utilized in the season to come or haven't been utilized in the previous season has been hugely freeing for me, mentally as well as energetically. This is probably one of my favorite examples to give people about the difference of having a spiritual practice and trying to live a spiritual life. Integrating and incorporating the intentionality and mindfulness into cleaning is what elevates it and magnifies it to cleansing. So while you are doing your dishes, sweeping your floor, tidying up your belongings, be mindful. If you haven't cleansed your space before, don't worry about it. It's fairly simple, and you can essentially use any method, tool, or style of cleansing yourself to cleanse your space, with a few adaptations, of course. My trick for choosing a method to cleanse my space is to work through my senses. For example, touch. How can I work with my sense of touch to cleanse my space? Dancing, tapping, waving, or pretty much any other motion that you would like to use to cleanse your space is great, whether you're doing it by itself or in addition with another method. I don't know, maybe you have some super cool like ninja hand signs like in Naruto, and that's how you're going to get juju out of your space. Works great if it works for you. The next sense would be hearing. Chime bowls, bells, music, singing, chanting, mantras, all great options to utilize in cleansing your space. Smell. Burning herbs, essential oils diffused or sprayed around, incense cones, incense sticks, boiling pots or simmer pots, having water with herbs and fruit, etc., simmering on a fire. All incredible options to utilize scent in cleansing your space. Taste. People will use aqua de Florida or rum, brandy, whiskey, and spit it in corners or out their doors. Not actually spit, you do a little spray. Maybe I'll give you a demo one day. But you can utilize any kind of liquors in your mouth in order to cleanse your space as well. And of course, our sight, so we can physically tidy up our space, wipe things down, put things back where they belong, and sight is incorporated, unless if you are blind. Sight is incorporated with the use of all other methods as well. That brings up the point of stacking. Of course, you can use multiple methods at once, and that is what I prefer to do. If you are someone who is maybe new to cleansing your space, I would stick to one, maybe two of those suggestions. But if you've been playing around with cleansing your space or working with energetics for a while, by all means, stack it up. Layering different things is what can really add that potency to any kind of ritual or ceremony. Now that you've figured out your tools, what you're going to be using, and maybe a little bit of the how of cleansing your space, I have a few other suggestions for you to keep in mind. Don't mop yourself into a corner. I don't know if you guys have ever done this in your younger years or when you were first becoming responsible for cleaning floors in maybe your family home, but if you start at the wrong corner and mop in the wrong direction, you mop yourself into a room. So you have to get the clean floor that you just mopped dirty in order to get out. So don't mop yourself into a corner when you're energetically cleansing as well. Start in the back of your home or the back of the room or whatever space you're cleansing and work your way to the front. You don't want the gunk to get stuck in the back of the room because you started at the front and worked your way into the space. That leads me into the number 2 suggestion and tip. Have somewhere for the gunk, the bad energy, the bad juju, or whatever to leave. You want to have a door open or a window open, or else you're just stirring up all of those energetics and they're just floating around and settling back down into their respective places once you have done your cleansing ritual. So make sure you have somewhere for all of this energy to escape through. If you're pushing someone out of a room, you want to make sure you're pushing them out a door or a window. Don't push people out windows. This is a bad analogy. But if you are getting something out of a space, have somewhere for it to go and exit the space. Above all, this is the most important piece when it comes to cleansing your space or yourself or anything. Have a very clear intention. Know what you are cleansing. Is it all energy or is it just sad energy or negative energy? Get specific and have a very clear understanding and intention of what you are trying to cleanse out of your space. Are you cleansing all of the energy? Because if you do that, there's going to be no energetics left in that room. That means the fuzzy moments and the happy feelings and all of that joy that has accumulated in your space as well. So get really clear and intentional about what you're kicking out. That allows you to be very intentional when choosing a modality or a tool. So what are the properties of the energetics you're trying to remove from a space, and what properties of the tools that you're using can help you specifically to move that energy. For example, herbs that are strongly and frequently associated with cleansing in general would be lemon and pine and rosemary. Rosemary even has some protective properties as well. So looking up the sprays that you're using or the essential oils or even pine sol and your cleaning products. When you are mundane scrubbing the toilet, pine is in pine sol. Look up the associations of the herbal allies you're using. Get really connected and aware and intentional about the tools you're using to address the energetics that you're trying to work with and clear. When you are finished cleansing your space, I find it very helpful and important to fill my space back up with energy that I want, whether it's happy energy, calm energy, still energy. I don't want to leave my space void of energy. What happens when we're cleansing is we've created such a squeaky clean area that there is a void or a vacuum effect that can occur. So now that this area is so clean and clear and squeaky shiny, a lot of other energies that might not be what you're intending to have in that space will rush in and want to take up that space. So just make sure that you fill your space back up intentionally. A few ways to do this would be to light a candle, maybe a candle that smells specifically of cinnamon or pumpkin or something seasonally appropriate, or something that has herbs in it and smells in it that are associated with the energies you want to call in. There is a bee around my head. Incense that have fragrances, essential oils, or herbs in them that have properties you want to tie in, like luck, or happiness and joy, or creativity. Find the herbal associations that are going to anchor in and bring in that energy you would like, and infuse them or incorporate them into candles and incense. Play music in the space that makes you feel good or makes you feel whatever emotion or energetic you're wanting to draw in. This also includes really fun dance parties. So if you are clearing a space, everything is squeaky clean, anchor in that vibration of clarity, of happiness, of energetics, of creativity and vibrancy and joy with a solid, musically inspired dance party. Bake a comforting snack like cookies or a pie or a cake. This is oddly specific, but especially if you're doing a full house cleanse, this makes it feel so homey, so welcoming, and so comforting. It works so well that you'll actually see realtors doing this for open houses. Baking a cake or cookies will fill that home with the energetics of hospitality. My last suggestion would be to do something creative in that space to bring in that energy. Paint something, write a poem, make a crystal grid. It's up to you. This is the funnest part about cleansing for me. Now that I have this beautifully squeaky clean space that is all mine to work with, what energy am I bringing in? What am I creating? What am I cultivating? What do I want to foster and enjoy while I'm in this space? Once you've cleansed your space and you have energetically set the vibration and the intention that you want your space, your house, your room to vibrate at, now is the caveat of wards and protection. Warding and protecting your space allows you to keep it cleaner for longer and protect different energies, frequencies, entities even from coming in and influencing the energetics of your space, affecting you or the people who are in your space with you. This can happen when other people come over or when the mailman drops off a piece of something. It happens in really subtle ways, and there's a lot of different thoughts and opinions on needing to ward and protect. It's a caveat because it deserves its own video, so I'm not going to get too into it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention if this is something that's new to you. Cleansing your space and anchoring in a frequency are 2 out of what I would consider 3 steps. So the third would be warding or protecting. Now it's up to you to decide if you feel like that is necessary, and one day I'm sure I will create a video all about warding and protecting. But in the meantime, I will link in the description below to a few really good resources that can get you started on wards and protections. I really want to emphasize that there is no right or wrong way to do this. There are maybe more effective ways or tried and true methods, but all of that aside, this is your craft, this is your space, this is your cleansing ceremony or ritual, and getting invested and excited and empowered to build something that serves you is what can add those levels and layers of power and intention. So if you decide to have a Beyonce bouncing of a time with a smudge wand, spraying chaos into your space, kicking out bad energies and entities, all of the power to you. Or if you are having a deep relaxation meditation with chime bowls and a lavender infuser going, and that's how you choose to cleanse your space, it is beautiful and powerful all to itself. So please take these tools, these suggestions, these ideas, make them your own, build your own ceremony, create a cleansing ritual, but more importantly, above all, I hope that you have a beautiful Mabon celebrating the fall equinox, getting in touch with nature, the seasons, reclaiming your space energetically, and preparing to tackle the up-and-coming season with love, grace, kindness, and a compassionate relationship with yourself. I am loving Self-Love September and creating these videos. I hope that they are of service to you all. As always, I will be back here very shortly with another video. May the force be with you. Bye-bye for now.